Welcome to Ponchatoula Live, the show where we make it easy for you to connect with the people of Ponchatoula. I'm your host, Parker Layrisson, and I'm so excited about today's episode. It's going to be a little different than usual in that we're bringing back one of our favorite guests of all time, Robin Abrams. If you haven't watched Robin's episode, I would encourage you to do that as soon as we finish this episode, because you will learn so much about this amazing woman who does so much for our community. But at my request, Robin has come on the show today to tell us about the upcoming very special Miss Louisiana pageant, which she founded about 10 years ago. So with no further ado, Robin, welcome back. And why don't we kick things off? Oh, thank you for coming. Why don't we kick things off with you telling our viewers and our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am from La Ranger. I've lived here for 30 some years. We have two children. Charles and I have raised two beautiful children, Jenny and Taylor. You know, Jenny was Louisiana Strawberry Queen back in 2009. We have five amazing grandkids. I'm on the school board for Changebow Parish, and I cover the La Ranger and Independence area. And I'm just a busy all-around person. I just keep my hat. I'm on the Sicilian Festival board. I helped found that organization, and we're going into our 18th year with the Sicilian Festival. Wow. And this year, the very special Miss Louisiana, which is a fundraiser for TARC that you sit on the board of directors for, is its 10th year. This is our 10th year for very special Miss Louisiana.
You know, we were chatting offline about how fast time flies, because it amazes me. I've played a small role with TARC over the years. You've played a much larger one, both in founding this fundraiser and in holding other fundraisers for the organization and many things beyond that. But to see the organization thrive the last decade and to see how much this event, very special Miss Louisiana, plays into that has been really special. I mean, it seems like just a year or two ago, you were calling me, asking me whether I would, pay for some T-shirts for some kids, and to think that was 10 years ago, it's like, wow, how time flies. Well, first, if you don't mind, let's kick things off with a little bit of talk about TARC, because as you mentioned, I've been on the board for a while. I currently sit as president of TARC. You have worked with and for the organization at various times over the years. If you wouldn't mind, just tell our viewers a little bit about TARC and why you have such a passion for it.
Well, I did sit on the board of directors for TARC for a while, and after I went to work for TARC. But TARC is a nonprofit organization that's in Hammond. It's over 50 years old. We just made our 50th anniversary not long ago. And I say we, even though I don't work for the organization anymore, because it's very passionate for me, this organization. We service children and adults with disabilities. And when I tell you, the services range from our day hab all the way to, our pageants, our fundraisers, everything in between. This organization can do so much for parents and families with students in the school system, adults and children, younger children with special needs.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you're right. It does so much. Historically, it was a kids organization, and it expanded to also provide services for adults. And it's run, of course, by the incomparable Michael Latino, our mutual friend, who's now serving as the CEO. And as I understand it, you have a special relationship with the Latino family and the former TARC ambassador, Maddie, who's, kind of a famous, big shot around TARC. And that played a role in this pageant. Is that right? Would you mind sharing that story with everyone?
That is correct. So I was working at TARC for the first time. I had previously worked at the district attorney's office, and my heart was pulling me to just do something a little bit more giving to the community. And I decided to take a job at TARC. Well, at that time, we had a daycare at TARC. It was all inclusive. It wasn't just for children with disabilities. And the Latinos had their children going to daycare there. Little Matthew was there. And Laura and Michael became pregnant with Maddie, did all the testing, nothing, because they were a little older in age to get pregnant in their early 30s, which not old nowadays, looking back at it.
Wait, but isn't it wild that a pregnancy in your 30s can be called geriatric? I think that offends a lot of my friends when they have babies.
Exactly. But back then, it was a thing, and she was going to be fine. And I go to the hospital. I had this little pageant dress with me, and it had a banner on it that said Little Miss Hammond. And I was all ready because I knew if the Latino boys were as gorgeous as they were, Maddie was just going to be drop dead gorgeous. I couldn't wait to put her in a pageant like we did with Jenny. So I get there and they let me hold her. And when I did, I knew at the moment that she had Down syndrome. And, parents go through these stages too with a child with disabilities. First, you're angry, and then you get nervous about how you're going to handle it. Well, when they first handed her to me, I was angry. I was like, how could this happen? They were supposed to have a perfect child. And then afterwards you learn that was a perfect child.
Yeah, she was perfect in a different way. And, what I've learned through my volunteering with TARC is that often parents have to grieve the child. They say, to grieve for the child they lost, meaning the child that they expected to get.
Right, exactly.
So that they can open their hearts and accept and support the child that they did get. And you make the great point that is a perfect child. It's just not perfect in the way you expected, maybe, but perfect in the way God designed her, right?
You're exactly right. And parents that have children with disabilities, I used to make this comment all the time, and a couple of parents, corrected me on it. And it's true. I used to say, God only gives you as much as you can handle, and special children are given to special parents. And, parents of special needs children don't look at it that way. They feel like they were given what they have, and they don't feel like they're special. They feel like their child is what they deserve, and they have that person in their life, and they make the best of it. And, it's so wonderful to be around parents with special needs children.
Absolutely.
They just look at life so different than we do. The things we take for granted, like getting up in the morning, brushing teeth, getting them dressed for school. I know a couple that's got 2 children that has SMA, and they both, if you would see how they have to work in the morning to get those children off to school, they're both in wheelchairs. They both can't move. They have to pick them up. We take all those things for granted. And
Absolutely.
that's, the thing that I wanted to do with Very Special Miss Louisiana. After the baby was born and Madeline was here, and she was still perfect in my eyes and everybody else's eyes as well, I wanted her to be able to experience the things with Laura that I had to experience with Jenny. And I started thinking, what can we do? At that time, Kathleen Abels was the CEO of TARC, and I presented her with this idea. She said, girl, let's go with it. Let's see what we can do. And Very Special Miss Louisiana.
May I interrupt briefly, Miss Robin? Because it's my understanding nothing like this had been done anywhere. This is your brainchild. It wasn't like you were copying a program they were doing in Lafayette.
Well, not so much. There was a show on TV. It was a TLC show, and it was called Little Miss I Can Do It. It's not exactly what we do. All the kids just got to get on stage, and they were just given the day just to shine. It's almost like a runway type thing. And I wanted to take it to a different level than that. I wanted it to be a pageant. Like kids with baseball and stuff. There are special need leagues for baseball and basketball.
Speaking of baseball, I think we've got one of those Latino boys coaching in Ponchatoula now. He's moved down from Hammond.
Yes, y'all do.
So shout out to them. That's a big get for us. I was excited to hear that.
Over at the Green Wave now. I don't know how he's going to be able to turn all that purple.
Thank you for coming down, Coach. We're excited to have you.
All that purple to green. But, so the brainchild of this started, and Kathleen and I put a lot of work into it. My dear friend, Jimmy France, who has passed away, he helped me with a lot of planning to make that first year amazing. And we had the first one at the old Holiday Inn in Hammond. And to tell you there was standing room only, it was amazing. We could not fit another person in there. We had 19 contestants that year.
Yeah.
And Maddie was my ambassador. I took her on TV to talk about it. And ever since then, we've grown. We went to the Harvest Church. We've been to the Mission Church. Now we're at Trinity Baptist Church. And I'm telling you, everybody looks forward to this. I was telling you earlier, children come year after year. The families have made such bonds that they look forward to each other every year.
That's so special. And as we discussed off air, the relationships that must be forged year after year, they just have to be special, because that's a path that you or I may not ever be able to understand, having not walked it. but that other people who have something similar going on do. And you meet someone from Natchitoches or wherever, and they're going through the same stuff you are, and you can talk about vendors on where to get certain special needs equipment. You can talk about how to handle situations that are unique to the situation. Just whatever. And those
It's just an
kiddos just
awesome.
love each other. You can see it in the way they embrace one another and light up when they see their friends upon arrival. It's so special.
Exactly. We take for granted the little things like that, like your child playing baseball or dance. If they're in the mainstream of children that don't have disabilities. So this
Mhm.
puts them all on the same playing field. This puts them all with their peers that are just like them. And the parents get to know one another. They get to trade. How do you do this when your daughter needs flipping in bed? What do you do for this? And you know where do you get your feeding tubes, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And it's just
Right.
a great deal for them to be able to communicate with one another. So one of the daddies told me one time, this was the very first pageant, he said, he was tears in his eyes, because if you're coming to this pageant, by the way, you need to
Yeah,
bring
bring
tissues.
your tissues. Yeah.
Yes, because this dad told me, you know my child may never go to prom and she may never walk down the aisle, but today you made her special.
Yeah.
And to hear that from a daddy, God, it just touched my heart.
That'll get you. And
Charles
what
had
you're
his first
doing.
dance with Jenny, at her wedding. And I just don't know how do you not want to cherish that kind of stuff? So the things they do get
Right.
to do, they cherish.
Yeah. And you're helping these children reach their full potential. And that's
Right.
the whole goal of TARC in the first place, is to help people, no matter what disability or challenge is thrown their way, to be all they can be and help them reach their potential. And to see them do it on a stage with the bright light shining, and it's special. We've talked a few times throughout this interview about baseball and community, and we got another good old ball coach here chiming in here, Kevin and Karen Rayford of Ponchatoula. Kevin, of course, is our parish assessor. And he writes in with a comment, Miss Robin, thank you for everything you do for TARC and our community. You are awesome.
Well,
Well
thank you,
said,
Kevin.
Mr. Rayford.
Thank you
Yep.
so much.
Kevin and I grew up together playing baseball, among other things. He and my brother Bree were classmates, and he's just a heck of a guy. And he serves on our TARC board as well. He's been
Oh, I didn't
volunteering.
know that Kevin was on the TARP board now.
Yeah, I
That's
think.
great.
Well, he and Jeff Leshershire have been best friends their whole lives, and if where one goes, the other follows. So Jeff's probably been on the board 3 years, which means Kevin's been on 2. It didn't take him long to follow
Well,
his
you know
buddy.
how it is, Parker. Once you get involved with this organization,
Yeah,
it just feeds into your heart. Mike
absolutely.
says it the best all the time. We don't celebrate their disability, we're celebrating their ability to do whatever they
Amen.
want to do.
Yes,
And
yes.
so that is the best way to put it. I want to get out there before we get off of this. September 26th and 27th, we do a party for the families on the 26th.
Okay.
And the following day is the pageant. Aveda comes and does all of their hair and makeup for free. We've been partnering with them now for quite a few years. And they send all of their hair and makeup artists that are going in to be
Mhm.
students or going to be cosmetologists eventually. They come and do the hair and makeup. They all get to wear all of their cute little beautiful pageant dresses. We have visiting queens that come from across the state to interact with them during the party. So there's just so many people that make this happen. And year after year, we're all together, just make it. It's like a old wheel. It just happens.
Yeah.
All of our things just fall together. So many people donate things. You with the t-shirts, the Tangipahoa Tourism does the trophies for us. We have the crowns donated. I mean, there's so many things that happen. There's a lady that's been doing our beautiful banners. I don't know if you could see it here for the last 8
Trying to see.
years. And
Uh-huh.
she couldn't do them this year. So Miss Linnell Arsenault from Ponchatoula is going to do it
Yes.
for us this year. And,
Uh-huh.
so it just takes a whole village to make this come together. And we want to thank everybody that's ever been part of this. Lamar Outdoor Advertising does a great job. The radio station, North Shore Broadcasting, everybody that comes together just to get the
Yeah.
name out and let us put our name out there so
Well,
people will know.
you've created such a cohesive community here to support this. And this is one of the reasons I love Ponchatoula, Hammond, our whole Tangipahoa area here, is that when somebody like you comes up with a great idea, and of course you've done so much for it, but no one person could do it all. So like you said, it takes a village, and the village comes together, and then everybody has such a good time and sees the immense inherent value in the project that they come back again and again and again. And here we are at 10 years, and this thing's shown no sign of slowing down. If you don't mind here, what I'll do is I'll pull up the website. So folks, if you're watching, well, excuse me, I am not the best at tech. I'm doing my best here.
I might have to introduce you to John Dunnington.
Yeah, John could help me a lot. But
another kudos we got to give out to is also our parish president. Every year he pays for all the entry fees. When we first started, we charged $25 per girl because we really didn't know what we were going to have to buy and that kind of thing.
Right.
Ever since then, our parish president, Robin Miller, says, nope, I'll pay for all the girls' entry fees. And every year he writes us a check.
Thank you, Robbie. That's a wonderful gesture. And we're so great to have a fearless leader like you doing that. This here is from the TARC website. So folks, if you want to Google TARC Hammond, TARC-Hammond.com is the website. You will see there's a subpage for the Very Special Miss Louisiana pageant. And it's, of course, announcing the dates here and the 10th anniversary. But here, Robin, if you don't mind, I'll bring you here. You mentioned the dates. It's Friday and Saturday. It's always a 2-day event. That's September 26th and 27th. And you said it's going to be back at Trinity Baptist Church.
It is.
If you wouldn't mind, tell us about this event. When people show up, at 7 o'clock on Friday, what should they expect?
Well, the Friday night is just for the contestants and their family. We feed them. We have a party for them. Every year we have a theme. And this theme this year is Happy Birthday, Very Special Miss Louisiana, because it's our 10th year anniversary.
Yeah, it's your birthday, right?
So everybody's going to be coming in their PJs, and we're going to have like a little pre-slumber party, and we're going to have karaoke, and it's just going to be fun for the girls. And the reason we do this is for the girls to be aware of their surroundings and what to expect for the next day. So it's not a shocker when they get there of getting on the stage and what to expect when they get there. And the parents get to socialize with the other parents. We feed them. We have pizza, and we do chicken tenders and have popcorn and all kinds of things for them. And then the next day on the 27th, that's when it's open to the public. It's a $10 entry fee, I believe, to come and watch. And once again, this is a fundraiser for TARC. So know that your money's going back to a good organization.
Right.
And you come in, and we're going to start with the oldest age division, which is 24 to 40-year-olds. And we'll start with them and work our way down to the babies. And it's going to be an all-day thing, just one group after the other. So if you have a child that has a disability, that's a little girl, we would love to have her in our pageant. If you have an older daughter, please contact TARC. Jessica would love to hear from you. That is the community coordinator for TARC now. And she would love to hear from you to register your daughter. And we would love to have her come experience this.
That's a great point, folks. There's still time to register. If you go on this webpage, I think I'll pass it. Here we go. There's a mail-in pack there, but calling Jessica at TARC would be the preferred way to kick that off. We've been looking at the slideshow here, and the one thing I'll notice is the joy in everyone's face. The judges, the parents, the participants, across the board. It's a joyous occasion, and every year, the whole time.
At regular pageants, fairs and festival pageants, the girls sometimes get upset because they don't win, or the crown wasn't on their head, but they come back every year. These young ladies are just excited just to be on the stage.
Yeah.
There's a few of them now that have been coming for a couple of years, and they may not have one that, say, I'm coming back next year and I'm going to win. And one young lady did, and she was just so excited when she won last year. So, it is a very much a heartwarming experience. It's something that everybody should come and see for one time in their life. And like I said, so many of our sponsors and so many of our local officials that have helped us. Billy Nungesser is a huge supporter of this.
I've seen lots of photos of him, at these events for sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of folks, we just saw some photos of Parish President Miller, but you mentioned a lot of these sponsors earlier, and so I'm now showcasing here some, but not all of the sponsors from folks like my firm that have been there from the first to folks that have come on a little later. Everybody here, just loves this event. And I can tell you, it seems like once people sponsor it, they stick with it. So if
Well,
you have a
good.
business
I'm
like
glad
mine,
you said that because, the Hammonites have been a big sponsor every
oh
year.
yeah, from day one, the Knights,
If
yeah.
you would like to sponsor this, don't feel like that you can't. Just contact us and we will put your name on all of our website, our Facebook page, anywhere we can put your name, we will definitely do that. And all of
this
the
is a
money
good
goes back to
example
Park.
of how they do that. And you can see here, there's a form on the page that you can click through, or if it's easier, just call Tark, ask for Jessica. She can walk you through this. But I can tell you, having sponsored it since its inception for 10 years, I'm going to have to be broke before I stop writing that check, because it's just an amazing thing to participate in. And I've noticed on the other years, as our sponsorship list has grown from a small group to a larger one, that folks stick with it, because it's just, there are a lot of great causes out there folks can sponsor, but this one will make your heart warm in a way that few others can. And as Robin mentioned, all proceeds go to TARC. I can tell you, from having served on the TARC board for many years, the last 2 as president, we get clean audits every year. The money you give us will go into the community. It will go directly to people with needs. It's not some kind of fat cat organization where we're all buying each other fancy dinners with your donation. That kind of stuff doesn't happen. The money you put into this will go to the kids that need it, and now adults that need it too. So Robin, I promise I would be respectful of your time. You've been so gracious, I should say, to join us here on short notice. But before we go, is there anything else we haven't covered that you'd like to share with our viewers and listeners before we wrap it up?
I just wish that everybody would come out on Saturday, September 27th to Trinity Baptist Church on Pumpkin Center Road. If you bring your grandchildren, my grandchildren are coming this year to witness it. Marae has come every year since she was born to come be part of it. It's so that they can accept children with disabilities. Yeah. And I want them not to be scared. I want them to accept children with disabilities and always know that they are just as important as they are. So it's a very good way to be able to teach your children about accepting people. And I think that is one main thing. This is the most rewarding event I've ever worked on in my life, and I've been on a lot of organizations. So just let you know, it's great. And if y'all have a chance to come out, we hope to see you all there.
Well, thank you for sharing with that. I couldn't have said it any better. We'll get one other comment I want to share here from one of my favorite people in the city of Hammond, Mr. Robert Fields. He says thank you. And so, Mr. Fields, thank you for tuning in, for commenting. Robin, thank you for sharing your valuable time. And to everyone else, thank you for watching. And if you have the ability, please get out and support the pageant, September 26th and 27th. Thank y'all so much and have a great day.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Parker.